So, first things first, who are you? What's your role? And where do you work?
Hey, I'm Santosh Vallurupalli. I'm a senior solutions architect with AWS. I've been with AWS for 5 years, and I primarily work with betting and gaming customers. And I work very deeply with Kubernetes and EKS for my customers. I specialize in containers, Kubernetes, and Gen AI.
Now, what are 3 emerging Kubernetes tools that you're keeping an eye on?
There's a lot that's actually happening in the container space. Things are rapidly evolving, and every 6 months you see a whole set of new applications come up. But currently what I'm actually hooked on are Kubeflow. That's my number one go-to tool. So for folks tuning in for the first time and hearing Kubeflow, it's essentially a machine learning kit, development kit. It helps you in building your MLOps pipelines. It helps you in building your test deployment pipelines, your inference payloads, your test beds, and pretty much everything. Everything that you need for machine learning is essentially what you get out of Kubeflow. And that's been my go-to place ever since I started experimenting machine learning with EKS and containers in general. A second tool that I always go back to is Crossplane. So essentially, if you have to manage infrastructure outside of Kubernetes, things such as managing your cloud resources, your file servers, your storages, block storages, instead of jumping onto 10 different screens, editing out 100 different files, Crossplane helps you to build all those infrastructures seamlessly and makes it really easy for you to manage that. And then, there's no Kubernetes user without K9 tool. That's like my favorite third terminal tool, which helps you in getting onto your Kubernetes clusters, figure out your usage patterns, get onto your pods, troubleshoot, debug, and all that stuff.
Organizations are increasingly running more mission-critical applications and apps with persistent storage on Kubernetes than ever before. What are some of the common challenges they face with respect to data protection and resiliency?
Yeah, that's a great question. So up until a few years ago, customers had this connotation that Kubernetes is just optimized for stateless workloads. And up until now, the last 5 years, there's been a huge adoption of Kubernetes for stateful workloads as well. And that's the reason why you'll see a lot of customers run database applications, messaging applications like Redis, like database applications like IBM MQs, Apaches, Kafkas. They're all running in Kubernetes because now Kubernetes is really so optimized to run stateful workloads. And with this adoption, customers also ask us, how do I back my clusters efficiently? How do I protect my persistent volumes? How do I protect my stateful workloads? How am I going to do this in an immutable fashion? How am I going to recover from a disaster recovery scenario eventually when that happens? Hopefully not, but when it does, how do I recover back from there? And so, we here at AWS, we've got a lot of these customers from asking us these questions as well. And then we have this philosophy of working backwards from what our customers ask us. We start off from where customers want us to start off at by working backwards from their feedback. And which is why I'm really excited to announce yesterday that we've launched AWS Backup Service AWS Backup Service is now capable of also protecting your EKS workloads. So starting today, customers can protect their EKS workloads. They can protect their persistent volumes. They can dump all of their storage backups onto backup vaults. They can also copy that across cross regions and cross accounts. I'm really excited for customers to try it. There's a whole lot of features in addition to what I just mentioned out. And, I'm going to be doing a bunch of demos here as well at the AWS booth, the rest of the day today, tomorrow, and presentations. So I'm just waiting for customers' feedback, and I'm so excited for customers to try this out.
Many enterprises are expanding their Kubernetes deployments across multiple regions. What strategies would you recommend for simplifying backup management at scale?
Yeah, backup management is always a question that our customers dabble with. And what I recommend my customers at least is when they start off with Kubernetes workloads, they start off by creating backup policies for one cluster at a time. Eventually, when they get to 50 clusters, they might have realized now it's 50 policies. It just creeps in very quickly. And that's the reason why I recommend always my customers to go with a policy-driven approach of taking your backups. These policies would contain your tagging-based strategies. You would divide your clusters as high priority, medium priority, and low priority, depending on which you can vary your backup schedules, the amount of backups you want to run, whether or not they require cross-region resiliency, and all those aspects. So I strongly recommend my customers to use policy-based backup policies instead of creating one-off-the-shelf policies for clusters one at a time. Helps you scale efficiently. Another aspect that is really important is to also store your backups in a cross-site region, cross-account, so that you always have the posture which gets you up and running in the events disaster has to happen. And so those are two things that I recommend my customers always to go with.
How are organizations balancing the need for agile container deployments with increasing regulatory requirements for data protection and retention?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question too. So the whole philosophy of Kubernetes and why it's seen such a rapid explosion was because developers and enterprise customers wanted to ship products really, really quickly, right? The faster the velocity, the higher is the business value from there. And that often put the concept of validations, the whole notion of maintaining your application efficiency, it started to take a little back burner there, But then fast forward now with the availability of tools like OPAs and Gatekeepers and Kyvernos, customers now have the ability of not sacrificing the whole posture of their applications. Rather, it's allowing them to take a shift left strategy in which they can integrate these tools natively onto their CI/CD pipelines. And then right at the time of deployment is when they get alerted out if their compliance is not being met or if their application postures are not in accordance with what their customers' preferences are. So I think it's taken a very good progress. I'm seeing a lot of customers take this approach, and I'm really excited also for more advances and advancements to come out in this space.
What's next for you?
Today, in this KubeCon, I'm really excited to run a bunch of demos for customers stopping by at the AWS booth. And, I'm also more excited for Kubernetes in general. I'm excited to see all the space, all the development that's happening on the machine learning side, all the cost optimization pieces that the open source community is contributing towards Kubernetes. So really excited for today and then also what's to come with Kubernetes.
How can people get in touch with you?
I could be reached out at Santosh Vallurupalli on my LinkedIn. I'm pretty active there. And for customers who want to email me, I could be reached at savallur@amazon.com. That's savallur@amazon.com. I'm pretty quick to respond. Couple of days is what it takes for me to get back to you.
Good.
Hit me up. Excited to get in touch with customers.